Everything comes from one thing. The one thing that everything comes from is called God. God's name is Elah, E-L-A-H. God is oneness and has two faces and many children. The universe is filled with God's children. The universe is the child of God, and the universe is the womb which carries God. The name of God, Elah, has two parts, El and Ah. El is what one of the faces of God is named, and Ah is what the other face is named. Together, El and Ah make one power. Sometimes El and Ah come out together, and sometimes they go apart. Together, Elah creates, and apart, El and Ah undo. What is created always comes apart, and what comes apart is always renewed. The universe is the work of Elah God. Life is the work of the universe. The soul is the work of life. Religion is the work of the soul, and God is the work of religion. So everything is a circle. Every one of Allah God's children share the qualities of their parents. The faces of Allah are everywhere. Chapter 2. Time began when one thing became two things, and then two things also broke apart to become four things, and so on. Inside everything, there remained the original two, and between the two, one. For us, there are two ways of being, or two orders. One order we'll call the immediate order, and the other is called the ultimate order. Verse 4. The immediate order is the same as time itself, and the ultimate order is that which in time will be. Hey, what's up, Singular Potato? I like that name. One singular potato. Verse 5. For example, this book is written in and of the immediate order, but when we read it and understand it in our minds, that is closer to the ultimate order of things. Does that make sense? Hi. Sorry, this light is obnoxious. I like and subscribe. Thank you. Appreciate it. Hi, Herbert Diaz, Nikki Kavai. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing stuff. My old eyes, it's hard to see. Where was I? The immediate order is what appears to be to us now, the present, and the ultimate order is what our now is becoming, yet in truth always was. The immediate order is the same as cause and effect. Let me know like what y'all think and if there's anything that you need explained. How old are you? They tell me that I'm 34. My name is Bib. Hi Bib. How are you? So the immediate order is the same as cause and effect, Basically, the universe works in such a way that there's cause and effect. It's pretty obvious. You drop something, it falls. You know, everything is conducted in this physical world by cause and effect. That's what the immediate order is. That's what things appear to be. What things truly are not yet. It's really weird. I have this phone stand now where the phone is like directly in my face. So it's like before I was talking into the screen, it was kind of like an angle, but now it's like I'm talking to myself. This is kind of weird. I gotta like look off to the side or something. My dad is 45. Wow. So yeah, I'm 34. I'm approaching 40. Oi. Um, so the immediate order is cause and effect. Same thing. Nature, whatever. The ultimate order, however, is the same as the first cause and the final effect. Thus, the ultimate order embraces the immediate, like a circle within a circle. Does that make sense? I like and subscribe. Thank you for your subscriptions and your likes. Everything helps in the modern god of the algorithm, right? Um, like I said, feel free to drop any comments or whatever. I'm just kind of reading along. Uh, verse 9. Time became when Elah God broke apart, and all things were made that will ever be made, are made, or have been made, and all that's been undone. Nothing of this, the immediate order, is taken away, and nothing is added. I should say added to, I guess. Another word for heaven is union. Another word for the immediate order could be disunion. Our bodies grow out of the immediate, and our souls grow toward the ultimate. 13. All things are ultimately united and then united again. Basically, everything is alive as the creator of everything is living. Hey, what's up? YT Hola Sol Romeo? How's your life going? 14. Basically, everything is alive as the creator of everything is living. The immediate order is the same as nature. There is no difference between physical reality and the immediate order. Same difference, just different word. I'm good. I'm just reading along this book. As consciousness is the soul of an individual, Elah God is the soul of nature. As consciousness is the soul of the individual, Elah God is the soul of nature. Ultimately, nature will be conscious and there will be God. From many back to one. And that's how the first chapter ends. What do y'all think of that? Chapter 3 is really short. It's only 6 verses. Elah God has two main moods or fashions. Mercy and truth is what we'll call them. Everything began when truth yielded to mercy, and time began to count. Allah God lets mercy host the immediate order, and Allah God lets truth have the ultimate. Verse 4. Everything we know to exist exists because of mercy, which is truth's yielding. All the universe balances upon a tiny grain of God's mercy, as an elephant on a grain of sand. That's an interesting visual. The faithful are those who recognize mercy first and then act evenly. So faith evokes mercy. Like when you have faith, you default to mercy rather than defaulting to retribution, cause and effect. You hurt me, I hurt you, back and forth, over and over again. That's the cycle. So when you have faith, you recognize that cycle and step out of it. By mercy, whatever the word, mercy could be exchanged for a lot of words. It just means yielding. It means stepping back. It means, in spite of somebody maybe deserving something, it's not your place to give it to them, but you just give it to the universe, type of thing. So that's chapter 3. Chapter 4, verse 1. Just like how the snake sheds its old skin to reveal to the light of day the new, so the old order in due time makes way for the new. The immediate order is a constant shedding between old and new. Nature, or the immediate order, is given the job by Allah God to make of clay good vessels to carry the divine, that the divine is born by and then born of the natural. The best locally to this end is the form of Adam. Now, when the word Adam comes up in here, it means the original meaning of the word Adam, which is Hebrew for human. So it doesn't literally, it's not a literal reference to the character Adam, but the Hebrew word, which means humankind. Human beings are as the vessels of the ultimate amidst the immediate or the crude. Human beings are as the vessels of the ultimate amidst the immediate or the crude. Much is shed of creation as Allah God designs. In the trail of time we find a great many things left behind, left for to be tested again. As one of a certain kind of creature carries a child in the womb, so also the universe bears the child of God and God child. Behold, child of God, your mother, the sky, and your father, the stars. That's chapter 4. Chapter 5, verse 1. Adam, meaning humankind. Adam, who's stirred up from the firstborn daughter, is stirred up amidst a lot of strife. The choice among children Allah God does choose, however slow their choosing is. Mountains of shells are cast away for only one pearl. The walk of the first order is more like a drag than a climb. We should come to know that Allah God is like the root of the plant, and the rainwater, and the sunlight which nurtures it. So basically everything. God is everything. As the rainwater spills from above and collects below to get caught up again in the clouds, so the will of the divine. Y'all remember that, what is it, the water cycle? Where, you know, precipitation comes down, it collects, and then it evaporates back in the clouds. It's just a cycle. That's kind of like creation, or the divine will in creation. Allah God is the light and the darkness which swallows it. Allah God is the light and the darkness which swallows it. Both. Everything comes from and then returns to God. Behold the rock of the brook. It's shaped by the running water. Likewise, Adam is shaped by the wearer of all things, which is the immediate order, which human and animal alike are caught up in, and having come from it, are shaped by the ultimate order as the rock is shaped by the water, however slow or however quick. What's up?
What?
What's going on?
Doing something?
Yeah, I'm on a TikTok or live. I don't know how far of this I should read. Chapter 5 is very long. This light is nuts. Principle. Why is chapter 5 so long, but the rest of it is short? What's up? Yeah, what's up?
Wondering if you want to play Minecraft.
Oh, maybe later. Not sure why I put this in Roman numerals. Verse 1. Let's think about law and principle. To do well means to try, inasmuch as one's aware, to live not by the mere order of trial and error, or the immediate, but to let oneself be lifted toward the superior order of things. From this mount to find happy escape, that is fulfillment and completion, that which is parted falls into place whole again, even as it ever was and is. I actually had to write that part in. What's up? Oh, that's the end of it? Okay. Look at the apple pie. Really? For instance, made by the baker. First, the apple tree grows from the seed, Then it blossoms and grows fruit, and finally the fruit is gathered. The apple tree is like the divine order, or we could say, the giver of all things. The apples which grow on the tree is like what we'd call principle. And finally, the harvesting of the fruit and the act of baking the pie is like what we'd call law. So it delineates between the overall divine will, which breaks down into principle, which breaks down into law, which is the practical application of principle, which is the theory of divine law. Like, you see how it's like, you could almost imagine a pyramid upside down. So, to the higher I, the apple tree, the bearer of the fruit, and even the apple seed, is also the finished apple pie. Thus, the divine order is within the natural order. Truly, the only difference is time. In the way the body retains life by the fruits of life, the soul retains being by the fruits of order. The soul retains being itself by the fruits of order. The ultimate, the divine, is as much below as above, and as much small as great. If we imagine the root of our apple tree, as well as the sunlight which nourishes the leaves of its canopy, then the fruit is of the immediate order, that is to say, that from God which is before our face. Better the way in this situation to work to create the pie than to let the fruit fall to waste. So the fruit is basically the fruit of the tree would be the principles, would be the moral principles of life, say charity, compassion, love. These are high principles. If you imagine them as fruit, the working of that growth becomes applicable law in day-to-day life, and that's religion. That's like rules, do's and don'ts. Thou shalt, thou shalt not. So in other words, what this saying is, it's better to always work from the fruit and make it something in practical life than to just let it waste. As many a fruit is wasted as is eaten. Be not a waster among many, but a harvester and a baker among few. Basically, it's the same thing as saying work the vineyard. This is still chapter 6, and we're on verse 8. The immediate order, though so named, is slow. 2,000 the seed she does cast by her wind, for the chance that even one would find root. So it's extremely wasteful, this order, the physical realm that we're in. Wasteful. Nature, her leisure afforded by God's mercy, makes least of all haste. The human is blessed who makes of the fruits of this life wine, and becomes drunk with eternal spirit, who from principle does make good food, and finds in the stalwart mountain instruction, and they who find in the stars the rich sweetness of hope. There's a lot there. Spare yourself, you faithful, the instruction of consequence, but instead put one leg up toward the rock's edge, and be not snared in the brush. Learn in the mind from faith first, and not those lessons given the person by earth, the eager wearer of brain and bone. Know this about your time. Your life is like the chick whose mother does bring the grain, So Allah God delivers the soul, that when your form is exhausted and your eyes set before the sun, mother comes to nurse no more. So the straws of her nest loosen their bond, and the rush of time lets you take flight, a child once more, though not of the earth. Human, so formed and engraved by struggle, takes faith to be foolish, as it's not by struggle that faith is attained, but by ease. Faith is free, even though it can be hard. That had, or that let, not possess. The person by nature's molding receives those things of ease with suspicion. But behold, faith is not a thing done, neither chased so as to be caught, but rather a thing allowed. And throughout this thing, too, references are given to different books, like including the Bible, mostly the New Testament, but some in the Tanakh. Like that one was given a reference of Matthew chapter 11, verse 30. I hope that's accurate. Verse 14. Capture the moon with your eyes, Adam, and see her ancient scars, yet she persists, and turns shameless her face to bring light to the night walker. Take note, though, and behold, many a thing could have been, but are not, and all ought not be, yet is. Here from the well of humility, wet the coarse tongue of distress, and draw the water of faith. Humbling yourself, you are surely lifted. That's Matthew 23:12 reference. It's not what it says, but it gives the reference of Matthew. Verse 16. Allah God begets the truth, and the truth begets principle, and through human principle begets the law. Thus the God child is born. Excuse me. Allah God, who raised up human beings from the heaps of bone, and from rivers of blood, and from the unsung millions whose sweat fattens the morning air, and whose tears water the manifold gardens. Yes, that same God speaks in whispers in the books of the human pen, but shouts from the heights and rumbles the valleys. Thus the truth, that axiom, must through trial pass along the wordsmith's mind, and become diluted by degrees. But behold, Allah God speaks plainly evermore in the midst of the wind, in the rustling of autumn leaves, and in the murmuring brook. There, the spirit of Allah God can be found naked. This is where it starts to get kind of poetical, the writing style. Just like how the apple of the apple tree is being collected, has many applications, and makes diverse treats, so also the applications of divine principle which spring forth from the tree of God are many. Never think your journey over, nor your method perfect. Meaning, the truth is ever pursued, not had. The greatest of all principle is known to be love. Love, like the warm sunlight, gives and doesn't take, but provides by its mere shine. And love is like the cloud, which, though idly passing by, grieves no labor in pouring forth her precious water, knowing her abundance, as she does. So as the sun does shine, and as the cloud happily rains upon both predator and prey, and it gives a reference to Matthew chapter 5, verse 45. Glance first the ready examples of nature and her colors, and second, look at the book for instruction, and finally, look to the person, but ever look into the heart, which is the seat of the soul. Just as Adam is capable of good works, so also are they capable of terror. They, the choice among the children of God, live fixed upon the crossing of trial. They, human, peeping just above the surface of the deep sleep, receive from Allah God in order to make a road smooth. But those who know, for such as them honor suffices. Where there's honor to be found, there need not be law, as honor is the embracing arm of mercy in the speaking of truth. There need not be law for the honorable, as the law lives in them already. Nevertheless, the compass need be made for the unlearned and the young. Peer you, Adam, over the bank of the pond of crystal water, and see down into it, that the bottom of it makes testimony to you. God speaks less command, but what is so, and what is not so is not so. That's verse 24. What's it been, like half an hour? Yeah, so there's that. What's going on? What is it, like 8 o'clock? It's gotta be close to 6. I think, God willing, tomorrow I'll get my book, Prophet of God, in the mail, and that's when I'll start reading from it again. I decided I'm just gonna reread it on a live like this. Maybe to just refine it, because my other live reading of it was kind of choppy, and now that I have this Motorola phone, it might be a little smoother, but I don't know. Plus, this stand thing really helps, so I don't have to set the freaking phone on a brick. Is anybody left watching? Have you any words to say? Speak now. Can you go on live and watch other lives at the same time? like, what if I just stayed on here for literal hours? What would that do? Just hours. I think they said the limit is like 8 hours. Could you imagine? It says 0 up there, so I'm going to assume no one else is on. Thank you for the likes and subscriptions. If you can still hear me, it all helps. I'm not sure how, who decides what's viewed and what isn't. Like 20 people pop on and then back to 0. Strange. There's got to be some kind of formula. But I guess I'll try this again around the same time tomorrow evening, late afternoon. Shalom.